Peter, very good morning to you. Government undermining itself with incompetence?
Many governments might rightly have that put to them. But I mean, the basic point here is that if you've got nasty criminals in this country who are foreign nationals, you should deport them, and you shouldn't be allowed at the very last minute to produce some legal appeal to stop it happening. And I think that the Borders Bill that's before Parliament next month will deal with that issue. I mean, it's been absurd where the Home Office has hired aircraft to take known criminals back to their country of origin, only to the last minute, lawyers, presumably making considerable amount of money, slapping in appeals. I mean, it's ridiculous that you can appeal at the last minute.
Let me ask you, though, that if that, for example, that foreign national is part of the Windrush generation, where the reason that they are not a citizen of this country is actually because of the government's incompetence in dealing with something, then you can understand why somebody would try and protect them and make sure that they're not stuck on that plane. It's that kind of incompetence or level of incompetence where, particularly during the course of a pandemic, where we got planes flying with many empty seats, why are we even chartering a plane at all?
Well, to deal with the first point, I don't disagree with your analysis of that particular case. I mean, there may be cases like that. I should think they're very small, but there might be. But they should be dealt with a long time before the person is due to be put on an airplane. That fact doesn't become a new fact at the last minute. So therefore, why on earth has that appeal not been put in long time before they are on the way to the airport? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. My objection to the process is not that the people have a right of appeal. I'm quite very happy with that. But I don't think they should have a right of appeal at the last minute when there is no new facts available.
Do you think then that comes down to organisation? That if, for example, we had a system where it was well organised and there was a timetable, and then also presumably having a timetable saying after this time you cannot put in an appeal, rather like, when the hammer goes down on the auction, that's it, you're done. That we should have this on legal situations, because do we not have a legal system that almost allows you to interject at any point at any time if you've got the cash or the money?
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem. It makes no nonsense at all. It's lawyers playing the system at great expense to the taxpayer and stopping people who should be removed from this country being removed. And I think that the Borders Bill should put that right. I mean, the opposition, you never know what they're going to do in Parliament, but it seems to me that makes perfect sense to me. It's not stopping somebody having the right of appeal. It's just saying you can't have it close to your deportation date. And the example you gave, there was no new evidence there. That's something that would have been always the case, and they could have put that forward months before anyone was deported.
Mr. Bone, I'm fully with you on this. I support this idea that if someone has a 12-month sentence, they should be deported to their own country of origin. However, the problem here is that the last caller we spoke to said that people are raising families after their sentence, they're spending a lot of time in this country, and then they're being deported. So why aren't we deporting people sooner if they're committing long-term crimes?
Well, absolutely. I mean, I think, again, the big Home Office bill next month says that they're going to speed that process up. But you almost think if they've committed serious crimes in this country, and some of them are very serious crimes, that people should be deported straight from prison. And I can see no reason. I mean, there is a system at the moment that seems to protect the criminals, the thugs, the murderers and the rapists, and has no concern for the victims of their crime or the potential victims of further crimes from these people. So I would prefer to see people deported very quickly, and I don't understand why there is these huge delays. And again, it's the legal process at the moment, but apparently the bill before Parliament is going to cut that down very considerably. And I, for one, will be supporting the government 100% on that.
Do you have confidence, though, in Priti Patel to be able to deliver not only this, but also to keep our borders secure? Because we still see considerable numbers of people arriving by boat. We still see £500,000 spent on just protecting the boats, because apparently we have to, even after we've captured them. We seem not to be able to control our borders. We seem not to be able to organise our border force in a way that means that Brits who have been abroad coming home don't have to stand in queues for hours on end. And then we don't seem to have the competence to be able to put people who should be deported and get them away.
Well, I have absolute confidence in the Home Secretary. She's trying to change all these things, and I think that part of the time she's up against civil servants and lawyers. But this new bill will do all those things that you've talked about. It will allow people coming across from France to be returned to France, and the law is going to change. So actually, we've got a Home Secretary who's trying to do something about this. What amazes me is that, you know, other people are opposing. I used to chair for a number of years the all-party group against human trafficking. These people coming across the channel in little boats aren't getting little boats and pushing off themselves. They're being dealt with by trafficking gangs. They make thousands and thousands of pounds out of these people. They're evil gangs. They're the same people that do drug dealing and gun running. They don't care about life whatsoever. And how on earth the French can be actually aiding these traffickers is beyond me. But we're going to have tougher sentences for traffickers. But the point is, we have to send people back who come here illegally, because if we don't do that, we'll never stop it happening.
But we've blamed the EU for a long time for this border issue, and the EU is no longer the case, and now we seem to be blaming the French. Why can't we just stop people crossing the channel? Why can we not turn the boats back instead of bringing them onto our shores?
Well, we can't legally at the moment, but that's going to change in this new bill before Parliament. I mean, it is absurd, isn't it? You would think, and it's absurd that you have to store the boats for 12 months in case a trafficker turns up at your front door and says, "Can I have my boat back, please?" I mean, that's an absurdity. And again, that's going to change, and the money that is raised from selling these boats will be used to go to charities who are fighting human trafficking. I mean, that's all good. But it does take somebody like Priti Patel to drive this through, and she's doing a pretty good job of it. And, you know, come back and, you know, let's discuss this in about a month's time, and hopefully all these proposals will have gone through the committee stage in Parliament.
Well, we will certainly see that. Yes, we'll take you up on that. Peter, thank you very much indeed for joining us.